Hello. I am going to talk to you in this video about the book Moneyball by Michael Lewis. I chose Moneyball for this project because I'm interested in and I enjoy sports a lot. So I like the topic. And I knew we were going to have to go a little bit deeper into the book, and I knew vaguely about the concept of Moneyball. I'd never read the book before this, but my dad had, so I knew about it, and I thought it'd be a good one to discuss in this video. As for a short summary, the book introduces us to a man named Billy Bean, or Beane, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. But he's a high school baseball player who is being scouted out by a lot of MLB talent scouts. And he wants to go to Stanford, but the Mets make a big decision, kind of risk, to draft him and make a big impression on him, so he reluctantly kind of ends up signing with them and does not do very well in the minor leagues. But he can't go back to Stanford, so he gets a job as a talent scout for the Oakland A's and makes his way kind of up to general manager. And the Oakland A's are kind of unique in their situation because they were very successful in the past, but their key players are being bought out by rich teams like the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, and they can't compete with the amount of money that these players are being offered to go to these different teams. So they've got to find out a way or the Oakland A's have to find out a way to compete with the richer teams in the league as a team that doesn't have all that much money. So what they end up coming up with is Moneyball. And they kind of use the idea of Moneyball and just ignore their talent scouts and start picking up different players. And they're not successful in the start, but as it gets into the second half of the season, they start doing very well. They win 20 games in a row, win their division, and make the playoffs. And while they do end up losing first round in the playoffs, they have already shown that Moneyball is a viable strategy. And the Boston Red Sox offer Billy a large contract to come general manager for them, but he turns it down because the last time he made a decision solely on money, which was going to the MLB instead of going to Stanford, he ended up regretting it, so he does not take that offer. So what did I find interesting about this book? The concept of Moneyball is something that really interested me, and just its effect on baseball. I guess looking into what actually is Moneyball, it kind of starts with a man named Bill James, and he is a baseball fan, but he's also a writer, and he works with statistics, and he comes up with something called sabermetrics. And basically what he's saying is that the traditional stats that people or baseball is using to recruit players, like batting averages, home runs, RBIs, he's saying that that is painting a false picture of baseball, and it's not accurate to how good these players actually are. And he's looking more in depth at more specific situational stats that he thinks better represents baseball. And none of the teams in the league really listen to him or take any notice at all until the Oakland A's. And they kind of use this as a sort of basis for Moneyball. So what they do is they are a acquiring players that are overlooked, that nobody else wants, but that are statistically going to help their team get more wins. And I think one thing as well that I find interesting about the book was that through Moneyball and through winning all these games, Oakland was able to show the league that baseball, or winning baseball, isn't just about buying these star players, but it's more about buying stats that are going to win you games. So if one player that's a star player, if you're paying him all this money, but his output on the field is not proportionate to the amount that you could be getting with your money, if you're buying a lot of players that are going to increase your statistical likelihood of getting on base, because in order to win in baseball, you have to score runs, and in order to score runs, you have to get on base. So if you don't have players that have a high statistical likelihood to get on base, then you're just not going to win as much. And I think that's one of the things that Moneyball showed the league. So through this concept of Moneyball, it's really changed baseball, because smarter teams are starting to look at these star players who are asking for a ton of money in their contracts, and they're not giving it to them. Because putting all of your money into one player, when baseball is really a team sport, you've got lots of positions out on the field. If you can get a lot of players that are going to help you out, that's going to get you more wins than buying that one star player that you throw on the field. So a lot of teams are being a lot smarter with their money, which is... So outside of the realm of sports entirely, Moneyball can be used basically wherever you're using statistics, and a really good example of that is finances. Financially, Moneyball can help you a lot. Just in things like getting the most for your money, getting the most bang for your buck at, right? So like Billy was trying to get players that were going to help them win, statistically have a large output on the field for a small amount of money. The same thing could apply financially, getting just the most out of your money. And that's kind of a concept that, is kind of the main basis of this book. And on top of that, I'd say probably the last thing I would say is just sticking with what you believe in, because a lot of the teams in the league did not believe in sabermetrics or Moneyball. They didn't think it would work, and throughout the book, they have to work to win games to prove that it is actually a viable system. So just sticking with what you believe in when everybody's kind of telling you you're crazy, or telling you that it's not worth it.